crossed over into Congo Brazaville. So that's how I left Kinshasa. Then Kinshasa, we went to Biroro. I won't talk much about the Congo Brazaville. It was hunger after hunger. The director of Red Cross there in Congo Brazaville was a Rwandese Tutsi. He told us, you will never have a food in this place as long as I'm the director of Red Cross. He told us, live. When we were at the Red Cross compound, said, we will never. And you thought that you are fleeing and you don't know that we are everywhere. So now, you know, so we went to Birolo. Birolo, we survived on what was called the Chikwanga, a very big cassava put together. And what? So then we started going all the way. Then they started fighting in Congo Brazaville. So we headed to Gabon. On my way to Gabon, I arrived in a place called Ngo. Those people who know that place. Then after Ngo, you have to cross desert. There is a desert between Congo Brazaville and the Congo and the Gabon. By the time I arrived at the last point, actually, we started going into the desert. The only thing we carried was water and kwanga. So because it was a 2 days journey, walking. And by the time we got into the middle of the desert, I got malaria and became so sick to the point even I couldn't walk. So the guys who were with me realized that they cannot continue going on my pace because I was so sick and we were running out of water. And so I told them, instead all of us, for you waiting for me, then you run out of water, we all die. It looks like this is my day. God wants me to die in a foreign land. So this is my day, this is where I'm going to die. If you survive, bring, and you find anyone of my family still alive, tell them that this is where I died. So they gave me water, a bottle of water, then went. So I was so weak, then went and slept next to a bush. You know, there is a saying in Rwanda that's saying, Tamupfu urenga buvumo. So I went and just slept next to this bush. It was not even a bush, it was a kind of brush. And actually went like something like a coma. And they stayed there alone. And I wonder why even the wild animals didn't come and eat me. And they said that there were very many leopards in that desert. So I stayed there in the middle of the night. And a voice came to me and said, wake up. And when I woke up and I saw, you know, when a car is very, very far at night, you see the spotlight. So I saw something like a spotlight, very, very far. And so I said, that must be a car. So I started, because of the cold, I had also got some kind of strength. I started crawling toward the path. It was in the desert, you know, in the desert there's no road, no specific road, but I was near where the cars, which used to traffic oil from Gabon to Congo, used to pass by. So I went a crowd went into the middle of that path, a kind of tracks. So I said, it's a trail, a kind of a trail. So I said, it's better this car comes and just crush me instead of being eaten by animals here. So I went and lay in that trail, and the car came. And when the car came and saw, I lifted my hand, and they saw that it was a human being. Then they dived and they passed me. So when they passed me, I said, God, if you have decided that I die here, let them go. So when I finished that prayer, the car reversed and it came and to where I was. I couldn't even talk. I was dehydrated, exhausted. I couldn't even talk and shivering because of malaria. They talked to me. I couldn't respond. They brought water and they gave me water. Then they lifted me and they put me at the back of the pickup. So drove with me, and after like 4 hours or 6 hours, they arrived at my colleagues who had left. That's how far they had gone. So they said, we have someone here. Do you know him? Said, yeah, that was our colleague, and he's sick. Please take him. So that's how I crossed over into Gabon. We arrived at a place called Likoni. When we arrived at Likoni, that's in a province which is near Bongoville, and by the time we arrived there was a newspaper written by Rwandan Tutsi refugees who lived there, talking about us and demonizing us and saying, these Interahamwe are coming here. Please make sure you don't receive them. You have to chase them away, such kind of things. The newspaper, the first day we arrived there was that newspaper. So everybody hated us. Everybody hated us. So then we were taken to Bongoville. Once we arrived in Bongoville, then we stayed there, and the Rwanda dispatched, and also the Bakas dispatched people, delegates, to come and negotiate how they could take the refugees back to Rwanda by force. So, and there was a UNHCR representative. She was we heard that she was from Cameroon. She was called Louise. And Louise came and said, no, we cannot take you back to Rwanda because we know refugees who are being taken back to Rwanda are being butchered. We have reports, credible reports. Therefore, we cannot take you back. Then she convinced us to go to the airport called the Mvenge International Airport in Libreville. So we were taken to Libreville, Mvenge International Airport. When we were there, we saw Charles Kayonga. Charles Kayonga was already there. So those people who knew him said that is Charles Kayonga talking to Louise. So we know things are really going to be bad. So then they said, no, the decisions have made that we should take you actually back to Rwanda. So, and they started beating us, raping women. Women were raped there at Mvenge. Women and people were killed actually at the airport at Mvenge. So me, I was wearing a white shirt, and I was hit. I was hit here. I have a scar here by a soldier who hit me using the back of the gun. And I started bleeding. So because I started bleeding in a white shirt, everywhere became red.
Well, William, when the soldier beat you, was it before or after Rwandan General Charles Kayonga arrived? Yes, I also think it's important for the audience to know General Charles Kayonga is one of the highest ranking military members in Rwanda today with Paul Kagame. He's also in the reports, the invasion of the M23 of the Congo, where he and General James Kabarebe and General Jacques Nziza. So this is General Charles Kayonga that I'm speaking about. The three of them were leading that invasion and the rebellion. That's also in the UN reports and many of the invasions. But I was checking, wondering, when they started beating you down and raping the women, and that is so horrible. But when they did that, was it before Charles Kayonga was there, or was it after?
No, the guy was there actually drinking beer and eating a brochette, enjoying himself. There is a hotel nearby at the airport where you could see where we were. So as we were beaten, Kayonga and Louise were just enjoying the brochette and the beer, called the beer, as we were bleeding to death. So women were raped that night, and we were beaten the whole night and the whole morning. So when the soldier injured me on the forehead, I bled because I was in white. So when I bled, all the blood came to my shirt. So everything was red. So as they were beating us, I rolled into the blood also of other people because there was a pool of blood. Then they thought I was dead. That's when they stopped beating me. So I stayed there as a dead person, breathing slowly, and so that they could not continue beating me. Then they just